This is Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. Now from the Collins Aerospace Studio at the Nordloff Center in downtown Rockford, here's your host, Eric Wilson.
Welcome and happy Valentine's Day weekend. Yes, I know Valentine's Day was Wednesday, but we've decided to celebrate this weekend, the weekend after. 2 seats are filled in our Elite Eight so far. One of these teams will earn seat number 3. Who will it be? How about the Belvidere North Blue Thunder? Belvidere North's back in familiar territory. Balanced attack by the Blue Thunder has put them in the second round for the 6th straight year. And of course, they were champs 2 seasons ago. I'm sure that's still fresh in everybody's mind. Brock is their captain this time around. Introduce us to your starting lineup, Brock.
Hi, so as Mr. Wilson said, I'm Brock. To my left is Dannon. To my far right is Ethan. And then right to my right is Paulo. 8
seasons of doing this show. I don't think anybody's ever called me Mr. Wilson. You get 10 points. No, I'm kidding. I can't do that, but thank you for being so polite. The equally polite South Beloit Sobos are here. South Beloit's win over Rockford Lutheran in round 1 has put them in the second round for the first time in 6 years. That feels good to be back, right, Annabelle?
Yes, it does.
Introduce us to your starting lineup.
I'm Annabelle, and then to my right is Zoe, to my far left is Josiah, and then to my left is Marcos.
Well, we're glad both of our teams are here. We haven't had a chance to say that much this season, but this is not a unique matchup. These two teams have played each other before, but you have to go all the way back to season 2 for that. So we'll see how things have changed 8 years down the road, shall we? We begin with our Rockford University buzzing round, so grab your buzzers, contestants. Most of you are veterans of the game. You know how to play, but remember those 2 most important rules. Wait for me to call your name and say your answer loudly and clearly. Hands on your buzzers. Good luck. And here we go. Their first question this week. What person who was the subject of the elegies When Lilacs Last in the Dooryard Bloom Brock?
Abraham Lincoln.
That's right. Even with my mispronunciation there, and oh, Captain, my captain was that other one. First points of the game go to North. What derivative of purine that can be removed from foods using supercritical carbon dioxide promotes wakefulness and is found in tea and coffee? Annabelle.
Caffeine.
That is correct, aka methyl theobromine. In July 2023, massive floods hit what capital of Vermont after it received more than 5 inches? Ethan?
Raleigh.
Incorrect. I will finish for South Beloit. 5 inches of rain in 1 day. Vermont's capital is Montpelier. What university, whose quarterbacks have included Mac Jones, Tua Tagovailoa, and Bryce Young, is an SEC school whose teams are the Crimson Tide? Paulo.
Alabama.
That is right. All those players now in the NFL with the Patriots, Dolphins, and Panthers. In U.S. elections, what is the term for a system in which locals gather to discuss and vote on candidates? Ethan?
Caucus.
That's right, as exemplified by Iowa's nomination process, which actually happened about a month ago. What battle, which included clashes at Freeman's Farm and Bemis Heights in upstate New York in 1777, motivated France to enter the Revolutionary War? Brock.
Saratoga.
You got it. British had about 3 times as many casualties there, too. In 2022, Barry Sharpless won his 2nd Nobel Prize in what field, whose first Nobel winner was Jacobus van 't Hoff? Ethan.
Chemistry.
You got it. That first award was back in 1901. North is on a roll. A riot occurred at a performance of what author's play, The Plough and the Stars, which is part of his Dublin trilogy, along with Juno and the Paycock? Ethan.
Miller.
Incorrect. South Beloit, you could take these points. That riot was because the audience was not happy with what the play said about the 1916 Easter Uprising. The author was Sean O'Casey. What African-American director, known for being a regular at New York Knicks games, depicted a hot day in Bedford-Stuyvesant in Do the Right Thing?
Lee.
Dannon. Go ahead, Dannon.
Lee.
Yes, Spike Lee. That's right. Won an Oscar in 2019 for Black Klansman, too. What man led the U.S. Food Administration during World War I and defeated Democrat Al Smith to win the 1928 presidential election? Ethan.
Wilson.
Incorrect. Zoe.
Roosevelt.
Incorrect. Hoover, president number 31. What man who conducted Beethoven's Ninth Symphony in 1989 at the Berlin Wall is played by Bradley Cooper in the film Maestro and wrote West Side Story? Zoe.
Sondheim.
Incorrect. Dannon.
Bernstein.
That is correct. Leonard Bernstein. What three-word term, abbreviated IoT, refers to the network of interconnected physical devices like smart thermostats and cars that exchange data? Ethan.
Internet online transmission.
Incorrect. South Beloit. That was a solid guess, Ethan, and you got the first word right. Internet of Things is IoT there, and that buzzer means time is up. So after the first round, Belvidere North has a pretty strong lead with 70 points. South Beloit has 10, but we've got a lot of game left to play. Our next round is volleyball. I'll have it for you after this break. Belvidere North has a pretty strong lead in our Sweet 16 game here. They have 70 points. South Beloit not too far behind at 10, but again, a lot more game to play. Before we get to our volleyball questions, a very special thank you to my friend Jerry Labai. He's the chair of the Mass Comm department at Rock Valley College, and there he has helped launch dozens of careers. He's also very passionate about education, which is why he is here supporting us today. Thanks for being here, Jerry. We appreciate it. All right, to our volleyball now. Contestants, work as a team, but the answers have to come from the captains, Annabelle and Brock. Belvidere North, you're getting our first volleyball question this week. Are you ready, Brock? Here we go. What country in which Alberto Núñez Feijóo leads the opposition People's Party has been governed since 2018 by the PSOE under Premier Pedro Sanchez?
Peru.
Incorrect. Spain. Over to South Beloit. Here's your first question of the round. What Asian nation has been led by the People's Action Party since its 1963 expulsion from Malaysia and lies at the tip of the Malay Peninsula? That was Singapore. Back to Belvidere North. What FX on Hulu show depicts the lives of Willie Jack, Bear, and other Oklahoma teenagers who live in the title type of Native American community?
Reservation Talks.
That's right. You got it. Okay. Actor-director Taika Waititi co-created that series, and those are the first points of this round. Back over to South Beloit. What adjective, which names a branch of math that studies logic and graph theory, also denotes variables that are not continuous?
Logistics.
Incorrect. Discrete. Back to Belvidere North. What objects which interact at transform, convergent, and divergent boundaries are massive slabs of rock that make up Earth's lithosphere?
Plates.
Yes. Tectonic plates, if you'd be more specific, maybe. We'll take that. Lithosphere is Earth's crust and upper mantle. Back to South Beloit. What composer's only comic opera was a 4-hour-long work about German troubadours, the master singers of Nuremberg?
Bach.
Incorrect. Wagner. Back to Belvidere North. What novel in which writer F. Alexander plays classical music to punish Alex for an act of ultraviolence is a dystopian book by Anthony Burgess?
A Clockwork Orange.
That's right. Also a 1971 Stanley Kubrick film. You're in triple digits now. Back to South Beloit. What term, taken from the first part of the German word for lightning war, refers to the German bombing campaign against England during World War II?
Blitzkrieg.
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 Say it louder.
Blitzkrieg.
I'm sorry, we can't take that. We needed the term is taken from the word for lightning war. Blitzkrieg is that full word, lightning war. We needed the first part of it, which is just the shorter one, which is blitz. Blitz was the answer we needed. Back to Belvidere North. What politician who, upon his 2022 election, endorsed the Uluru Statement from the Heart is the current Labour Party Prime Minister of Australia?
Smith.
Incorrect. It's always worth a guess there. That was a tough one. Anthony Albanese. South Beloit. What author who wrote about her husband's death in The Year of Magical Thinking depicted 1960s counterculture in Slouching Towards Bethlehem?
No answer.
Joan Didion. And we are out of time for the round. That was kind of a tough volleyball. Belvidere North expanded its lead a little bit. Again, they're in triple digits at 100. South Beloit has 10. Halfway through the questioning, well, we got questions worth points. We're halfway done. We have one more question that doesn't have any points on the line. It's pizza and pasta from Lino's. It's our Bergstrom bonus question. You'll see it now. We'll come back with the answer.
With 11 World Series titles, which National League team calls Busch Stadium home and has a logo featuring a bird perched on a bat?
Halfway through our game this week means it's time for our Bergstrom bonus question. Scores won't change, but maybe stomachs will be full with pizza and pasta from Lino's of Rockford, longtime supporters of our show. So it's a buzz-in. Contestants, let me know if you know the answer to this question. With 11 World Series titles, which National League team calls Busch Stadium home and has a logo, Brock?
Millers.
Say that again.
Millers.
Incorrect. And has a logo featuring a bird perched on a bat. That team is the St. Louis Cardinals. Cubs fans at home are booing just the thought of that word. Every so often we have to throw out some Cardinals questions for our director, Aaron, because he's such a huge Cardinals fan. He always likes to represent. Let's take a break, and maybe he gets the pizza, since none of our teams did. Let's do that. Aaron, you get the pizza. Send us to break, Aaron, and we'll be back with our Nika IBEW lightning round. If that break seemed a little bit longer than normal, that's because our director, Aaron, already went to Lino's to get his pizza, and he's back now. And so are we with our Nika IBEW lightning round. Our scores sit like this as we enter the round. Belvidere North has 100, South Beloit has 10. But if you run one of these categories, it's 100 points added to your score. And Annabelle, if you and the team do that with this first choice, you'll be in the lead. You get first pick, too. NBA playoffs, historical Black Americans, or atoms? As in the name, not the atomic atoms. I need to clarify that.
Adams?
Okay. Give the first names of these people with the surname Adams. So their last name is Adams. You're giving me the first name. And that could be an Adams spelled with 1 or 2 Ds. I know it doesn't matter because we're not spelling them, but they all sound the same. But just to be clear, it could be either spelling of Adams as their last name. And then, Brock, you and the team will have 30 seconds to get what they don't. We've got 1 minute on the clock. Annabelle, are you ready for the first one?
Yes.
Give the first names of these people with the surnames Adams. Second president.
John.
Correct. Photographer of Monolith, the face of Half Dome in Yosemite National Park.
No answer.
Mayor of New York City, elected in 2022.
No answer.
Author of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
No answer.
Daughter of Gomez and Morticia, played on Netflix by Jenna Ortega.
Wednesday.
Correct. Activist and co-founder of Hull House.
No answer.
Actress who starred in Enchanted and Arrival.
Amy.
That's correct. Creator of the comic strip Dilbert.
No answer.
Wife of David Beckham, who was in the Spice Girls.
No answer.
Author of Watership Down.
No answer.
And that's all, and that's right at the buzzer too. We made it through there. So you got 3 of them right, 30 points added to your score. Not too shabby. That's kind of a tough category. But Brock, so there's 7 left, but you only have 30 seconds, half as much time to get through them. And I'll read as fast as I can, although if you've been paying attention, maybe you'll spit these answers out quickly too. Are you ready for the first one, Brock?
Yeah.
Give the first names of these people with the surname Adams. Photographer of Monolith. Say that again?
Skip.
Mayor of New York City.
Eric.
Yes, correct. Author of Hitchhiker.
Douglas.
Correct. Activist.
Jane.
Correct. Creator of the comic
Skip.
strip. Say that again.
Skip.
Are you saying
To
pass?
Yeah, pass. Sorry.
Wife of.
Victoria.
Correct. Author of.
Richard.
Correct. Photographer of Monolith, the face of Half Dome in Yosemite National Park.
Dorothy.
Incorrect, and that's our time. So not a bad cleanup there. 5 of them right, 50 more points. My marks are all over the place, but let me see if I can get these as efficiently as I can. The photographer was Ansel Adams, famous for his black and whites. David Beckham's wife, we got that, here we go. Creator of the comic strip Dilbert was Scott Adams. Those are the 2 no one got to. So now, Brock, you've got 2 categories left to pick from, and they are NBA playoffs or historical black Americans.
I'm going to do historical black Americans.
Okay, we're going to leave that sports category by the wayside. Name these black Americans, kind of appropriate as we're in the middle of Black History Month. And that's all that's the exact description of this category. It's as simple as that. And same rules apply, 60 seconds for you, 30 seconds for you. Annabelle, again, remember the pass option. Are you ready, Brock?
Yes.
Here is your first one. Name these black Americans. Gave the I Have a Dream speech.
Martin Luther King, Jr.
Correct. Refused to move seats on a Montgomery
Rosa Parks.
bus. Correct. Gave the ballot or the bullet speech and had a 1-letter surname.
Malcolm X.
Correct. NAACP co-founder who wrote The Souls of Black Folk.
Pass.
Gave the Ain't I a Woman speech.
Harriet Tubman.
Incorrect. National Rainbow Coalition founder who ran for president in 1988.
Pass.
NAACP field secretary murdered in Mississippi in 1963.
Pass.
Educator who co-names an HBCU with Alfred Cookman.
Pass.
Almanac compiler who surveyed Washington, D.C. in 1791.
George Calvin.
Incorrect. 6-year-old who desegregated, and that's our time. We didn't get a chance to read that full question. They got a little bit tougher as we went along. 3 of them right. You're up to 187 left on the board for you, Annabelle and the Sobos. But again, only 30 seconds for them. I'll be as efficient with these as I can for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Name these black Americans. NAACP co-founder who wrote The Souls of Black Folk.
Pass.
Gave the Ain't I a Woman speech.
Pass.
National Rainbow Coalition founder who ran for president in 1988.
Pass.
NAACP field secretary murdered in Mississippi in 1963.
Pass.
Educator who co-names an HBCU with Alfred Cookman.
Pass.
Almanac compiler who surveyed Washington, D.C. in 1791.
Pass.
6-year-old girl who desegregated a New Orleans school, and a lot left there, a lot to read in those 30 seconds. No extra points added to your score, excuse me. I will read the 7 that are left really quickly. The NAACP co-founder was W.E.B. Du Bois. The woman who gave the Ain't I a Woman speech was Sojourner Truth. National Rainbow Coalition founder who ran for president in 1988. He actually retired from Rainbow Push last summer, Jesse Jackson. NAACP field secretary murdered in Mississippi was Medgar Evers. The educator who co-names an HBCU, that stands for Historically Black College and University, Mary McLeod Bethune. That's Bethune-Cookman University is that HBCU. The Almanac compiler who surveyed Washington, D.C.'s Benjamin Banneker. And the question that I never got to read the full one for, I have to get it out. 6-year-old girl who desegregated a New Orleans school in 1960 is Ruby Bridges. That is our lightning round. So Belvidere North still with a pretty strong lead here, 180 points to South Beloit's 40. But we've got our final challenge right after this. We'll see how the scores end up. Stay with us. One more round to go this weekend. That's why we call it the final challenge. It's the Mercy Health final challenge. Our score situation is this. Belvidere North has 180. South Beloit has 40. Each of the questions in this round is worth 20 points, contestants. So those scores could change really quickly. Hands on your buzzers. Same rules as round 1, other than that point change. So remember, wait for me to call your name before you answer. Say your answer loudly and clearly. And here we go with this week's Mercy Health final challenge. What Englishwoman's 2020 novel, The Mirror and the Light, concluded a trilogy about 16th century courtier Thomas Cromwell, which began with Wolf Hall? That was a tough literature question to start things off. Hilary Mantel. What man shown in the Lansdowne portrait that was saved by slave Paul Jennings during the War of 1812 is also seen in a portrait used on the $1 bill? Paulo.
George Washington.
That is correct. You remember your money. That's our first president on that bill. You're up to 200 now. What geometric diagram is often used to show the order of key signatures as sharps and flats are added to C major? Brock.
Staff lines.
Incorrect. I'll finish for South Beloit. And is named after an interval. If you can picture it, it's drawn in a circle. It's the circle of fifths. That's what that diagram is. What U.S. territory formed by a namesake 1787 ordinance prohibited slavery and was eventually converted into states like Ohio? Brock.
The Midwest.
Incorrect. I'll finish for South Beloit. And Wisconsin. Aiden.
Jamestown?
Incorrect. Illinois was part of that too. We're talking about the Northwest Territory. What state which contains the eastern portion of Treasure Valley is home to the city of Coeur d'Alene and its panhandle and is governed from Josiah?
Oklahoma?
Incorrect. I'll finish for Belvidere North. And is governed from Boise? Paulo.
Idaho.
That is correct. Different panhandle state there. A book of sketches by Leo Tolstoy is named for what Black Sea port that was besieged for 11 months during the Crimean War? Annabelle.
Art.
Incorrect. Belvedere North. Go ahead, Ethan.
Port City?
Incorrect. Sevastopol. Those are known as the Sevastopol sketches or Sevastopol stories. Holders of what national executive post included a man killed during the years of lead by the Red Brigades, Aldo Moro, as well as Silvio Berlusconi? It might have been helpful if you knew I was talking about Italy. They were prime ministers specifically of Italy. What singer who claims gravity's holding me back and in this world it's just us in the 2022 song As It Was? Also, Ethan.
Harry Styles?
That's right. Also recorded Watermelon Sugar, former member of 1D. That poster in your room paid off. What monarch oversaw a loss for his country in the Livonian War after 25 years of fighting and was the first to use the title Tsar of all Russia? Paulo.
Ivan the Terrible.
Ivan the Terrible is correct. And with those last points and that long buzzer, we end the round. Belvedere North pulled away pretty strongly in that final round. Congratulations. You are going to the Elite Eight. A familiar spot for you. South Beloit, this is always the toughest time of the game. We have to say goodbye to somebody. How many of you are seniors? No hands in the air. That means you'll all be back, right? I hope so. That's good. It's always a pleasure having you here. You played a great game. Some of those questions were pretty tough. And of course, they're a tough team too as well. So thank you both for being here. We hope you join us when actually next week you will play. So Belvedere North in the next round, you play the winner of next week's game, which is Galena and Boylan. Hope you can join us for that one.